All right, Coach. First, just kind of talk about the Kent State game, and then getting ready for two home games this week against Buffalo and Miami.
Sure. Obviously, went over to Kent. Had a really good first 28 minutes of the game. Our guys played really well. We really competed, and this is what consistent has been consistent with our guys all year long. I think their effort and their play and everything has been consistent. Obviously, things got away from us very quickly in the second half. I think some frustration set in. I think they obviously started making some shots. We got frustrated. We started pressing. We got away from our game a little bit, and Kent had a lot to do with that. So give some credit to them for that. But obviously not indicative of what we've done this year, how we've played this year, have gone about things, and certainly disappointed in the outcome at the Kent State game. Obviously for this week, obviously it's great to play at home, but every night's a dogfight in this league. Buffalo comes in here. Buffalo's a very good team. They've got a good team and have played very well. And then obviously, I know we play Miami. I've seen Miami scouting other teams. I haven't really studied Miami, but they always play hard. They run really good stuff. They defend well. Certainly a big task for big two games for our team this week.
Coach, with the two home games coming up, what is the difference? Do you think between home court advantage without fans versus that advantage that you get with fans in the arena?
I think it's greatly diminished. I think when you play at home, not just fans, but obviously fans make a huge difference. Family, friends, things like that. I think everybody responds to that stuff. And you need a big defensive stop, or you make a big run and your crowd is behind you, the energy that it gives you certainly is a factor. I think, home court advantage has always been worth something. And I think this year it's greatly diminished. I think we saw that in the NBA bubble down in Orlando. I think it's true when we go on the road. We've seen that even at Kent, people aren't allowing fans. You really have to rely on one another, and your bench is your energy. It's not going to be the crowd.
In the last two games, the team has hit less than 20% of its threes, but still taken more than 20 in both of those games. What are your thoughts on, when three-pointers aren't falling, do you want guys to keep shooting it and if they get an open look, or do you ever think of saying maybe we need to work from the inside out?
Well, it's a little bit of a catch-22. Obviously the shots need to drop. We need to take good shots. At the same time, teams are double teaming us in the post. They're going in double teaming Titus. Specifically, they'll go and double team Greg at times. And then the ball comes out when they're double teaming the post. The ball comes out of there, and you have some guys with wide open shots or very good looks, and those are shots we need to take. We're not a prolific 3-point shooting team, but we're not a bad 3-point shooting team either. And as long as they're open looks and they're good looks, we want our guys to jump up with confidence and shoot those.
Coach, one of the players that seems like has been getting better as the season goes along has been Jason Wilkins. What do you think of his play of late and how that's a good sign for the team moving forward?
Sure. Obviously we've been happy with Jason in a lot of ways. I think Jason is very consistent in what he does. I think how he practices, how he prepares on and off the court. I think he's got a very consistent level approach to how he goes about things. And I think that's allowed him to play more consistent as the years gone along. He's older. He knows the system. He knows what he wants to do. He knows this league. He knows this level. He knows the level of preparation it takes to play well, and certainly not surprised by how Jason has performed this year.
On the flip side, Josiah Freeman has kind of struggled, especially last week, the last two games. What do you think of the progress he's made so far in his freshman year, and what he can do to keep getting more comfortable and just get that performance more consistent for this team?
Yeah, I'm really happy with JoJo's progress from day one to today. Progress isn't always a straight line. It's not always up and to the right. There's ups and downs with that. And that's the thing that we've talked to our team about as a whole, but also each of our guys individually. But we just continue to what we just kind of talked about with Jason. What is your approach? How do you go about things on a day-to-day basis? How do you prepare your body? How do you prepare yourself to play well? Try to make those as consistent as possible. So now when you take the court, hopefully you can be more consistent. But it's a big change. This is a big jump from high school from anybody. And JoJo's done really, really well. He's really improved, as I said, from day one to today. And we're thrilled he's part of our program.
And looking ahead at Buffalo, they have two players, Williams and Graves, who both average over 17 points a game. What is the focus going to be defensively on those two in Buffalo as a whole?
Well, Buffalo's a really outstanding offensive team. They play fast. I think they score about 83 points a game. They really get the ball up and down the floor. A couple things with Buffalo you have to really do a good job of is you have to take care of the basketball. They really feed off turnovers. They want to create a lot of turnovers. We have to do a good job taking care of the basketball and getting shots, first and foremost. Secondly, when they shoot the basketball, they're an outstanding offensive rebounding team. They've got good size. They get a lot of offensive rebounds. And if we allow them to get easy baskets on putbacks around the rim, that feeds right into what their strengths are.
Coach, you talk about defense. We're the only school in the MAC to rank in the top 4 in scoring defense, opponent field goal percentage, opponent three-point field goal percentage, and opponent free throw percentage. Really rare to have a team in the top 4 in all 4 of those categories. Just kind of what does that go towards your defensive philosophy?
Well, I think it goes to our guys have a real passion and enthusiasm for defending. I think they understand that our path to be successful, we have to be a very good defensive team. I think they work at it. I think they work hard in practice. I think this group has done a really good job understanding scouting and scouting reports. And they've done a nice job with that. We have to continue that. We need to find a way to create more offense from our defense. But the credit on the court, success of guys on the court on either end of the court, whether it's offense and defense, goes to our guys and their commitment and their work ethic that they put in.
You switched the lineup a little bit at Kent State, just kind of and putting in Adrian Martin and Patrick Millian. Just kind of talk about those two guys, maybe the decision that went into switching up the lineup a little bit, and then just those two guys and their play off the bench and then getting a starting role.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things we've stressed with our guys all along is we have to continue to adapt as the year goes on. We can't walk in again day one and say this is what we're going to do and stick with that the entire year. We've got to continue to challenge ourselves, to grow, to get better, to continue to work. I think Pat and Adrian have really worked hard. They're deserving of a starting role. They're deserving of more time. That's not a criticism towards anybody else. But sometimes you've got to, it's a long year. You've got to try to find the guys that are playing well. Try to find the guys that have to give you the best opportunity to win, and play those guys. And no starting spot is etched in stone. No bench spot is etched in stone. And I think if our guys ever feel that way, I think that kind of takes away from everybody's work ethic. And I don't think that's the best way to go about doing things. And our guys know that. We've had conversation about that. It's been open, and we're all in this together. Whatever role we're in, we got to be as good as we can in that role.
Coach, the team shot free throws very poorly at the start of the year, and has been able to get that up over 70% since conference play has started. Was that a point of emphasis, and how do you sort of get the guys into that improved performance at the free throw line?
Well, very honestly, it was very surprising to us to start this year. We charted every shot in the preseason. We charted every one of our guys, every shot they took in live action or in workouts. We knew where guys were, and we shot the ball extremely well from the free throw line. We had inter-squad scrimmages. We obviously charted that as well. And then we started the year, we didn't. That was a surprise to us. It wasn't something that we were expecting. I think we have guys that can make free throws. I'd like to tell you, man, I went out there and said, everybody do this, and it worked. It wasn't that way. Guys just stayed and kept working at it, kept doing what we're doing. Certainly some guys have spent a little extra time on the foul line. But there was nothing magical, certainly, that I did or our coaching staff did. We have good players, and they were able to step up and make free throws.
You can go, Colin. You can
All right. You mentioned in the switching up the lineup a bit, adding Emilian and Martin into the starting lineup. In the past, you've talked about liking the production you've gotten from guys like Emilian Martin, Cruz off the bench. How tough is that to balance who you wanna start, who you want to get what minutes, and how much of that is sort of dependent on the matchup and what the, looks the opponent is giving you to?
Yeah, it's all a factor. You have to continue to change. It's not a constant, and that's the thing we keep talking to our team about. The last thing we want to have anyone feel like is they don't have hope to play, because when that's the case, they're not going to play, or I don't have a hope to earn a starting job, because then they'll as we like to say to our team, growth and comfort don't coexist. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable to grow, and that's okay. Guys knowing they've got to continue to play well for their starting job, or guys knowing that if they play well and they work hard, they can earn a starting job, is really the only fair way to go about doing things. And we've been transparent with our guys. Our guys know that. They understand that. But most importantly, our guys are all in this together. No matter what their role is, they all want to play well for one another.
Coach, with everything going on with COVID, obviously it's been well documented. But I guess one of the things that people may not notice is that a lot of our Tuesday games and midweek games get moved up in the day earlier to 2 o'clock. With a relatively young team, does that help or hurt? Knowing scouting wise, when you have to go from a Saturday to a midweek game on Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I think specifically for this game. So our other games that have been moved up have been during our Christmas break. Those guys, weren't in school anyways. Obviously, we started school today, so we're back in our semester. Quite candidly, we have to go to Buffalo later in the year. They have to come here. Coach Weitzel and I talked and thought maybe if the administrations were agreeable to it and we could play it too, both us later on in the year in February and tomorrow Buffalo can get home at a reasonable, better time to help our teams, especially with most institutions and a lot of classes with their classes online. We felt like maybe this is something we can explore. I don't think any of our other games later on in the year, we only have a couple more Tuesday home games. But one of the tough things about our schedule, just with how we play on Tuesdays and Saturdays, is Nate, you're exactly right. We got home. We took a 4.5-hour bus ride home from Kent. We got home late Saturday night. The impact of COVID that you mentioned, we had to show up for testing at 8:30 on Sunday morning to get tested. And we made a decision as a coaching staff, let's go ahead and bring our team in and practice. They're up, they're moving, they're up and around. Let's not hold off until maybe 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Plus, we have a women's game yesterday. We had to adjust around that. Volleyball is back practicing. All those things factor in with COVID and the schedule changes. So yeah, we're going to run out there today, and practice with our guys and shoot. It's less than 24 hours and we play them again. So there's not a lot of rest. There's not a lot of downtime. It is a lot differently, and that's why you're hoping that your habits that you created in the preseason and earlier on can carry over when the ball goes up tomorrow afternoon.